Hey all, welcome back. Welcome to today's segment. I hope you're all having a great day. Before we get started, I just wanted to tell every single one of you out there, Merry Christmas and of course, Happy New Year. Last week, I made you a promise. I promised you no politics, no culture war, nothing heavy for the month of December. It's Christmas. We want stories that are going to inspire, lift up our hearts, and of course, put a smile on all of our faces. Now, if I've done any of that for you in the last couple weeks, it would be greatly appreciated if you left a thumbs up, a like, share, or of course, if you're not already subscribed, subscribe. Now, also last week, I told you guys a story about my father. How he was raised in a poor home in Texas and did not experience Christmas until he moved here to Michigan. And how bad his first Christmas actually was. How he woke up Christmas morning and ran into the living room and no presents, no stockings. Thinking to himself, I was a good boy. I helped with my siblings. I helped work for my dad. And I was even helping mom. But yet, I didn't get anything from Santa Claus. Why? Well, of course, as I explained to you last week, it's just not what he was raised with. Being from Texas at that time, the whole family worked, and it was about survival. And in their case, they needed to make enough money just so they could leave Goliad, Texas, and come up here to Michigan. Because they knew about this glorious city, the Paris of the Midwest. Detroit was almost at its peak in production, wealth, and of course, high-class society. Where else would a working-class family want to go to make it big? So they did. They came here to Michigan, to Detroit, Paris of the Midwest, the big, beautiful city. The city at the time that rivaled New York and Los Angeles. Hearing from his friends, he heard about this Santa Claus, St. Nicholas. If he was a good boy, he'd get all these toys, and they'd be under his Christmas tree the next day on Christmas morning. He didn't know how any of that worked, because he wasn't raised with it. So imagine as a 10-year-old boy, all your friends telling you about this, and then being downtown Detroit in the post-World War II. Woodward's all lit up, the Thanksgiving Day parade, all the window dressings at Hudson's. The spectacle of Christmas. Imagine the excitement of someone who is 10 years old, who has never experienced it, and is finally being told about it for the first time. The excitement they would have. And then come that morning, sheer disappointment. So you're probably saying, well, how is this uplifting, Antonio? You said you're going to be giving a story that's going to inspire. This is just the beginning, my friends. Just the beginning. Now, last week, I also expressed to you how myself and my siblings are going to give my father the Christmas he never got to have. We went out and we bought all the gifts from the late 40s, the vintage toys, so that we could present them to him Christmas morning. And we did that. We got them all wrapped. We got a big old Santa bag, and it's ready to go for this weekend. We're excited. Also, last week I mentioned that we are going to document the entire process. I'm going to document the delivery of the Santa toys and how it's going to be done. And of course, we are going to be filming the reaction of my father opening these presents. And of course, to go along with these presents, my oldest sister has written a letter from Santa Claus to the young Hector. And I want to share that letter with you. Now, I'm going to apologize now because it is very heartfelt, and it is to my father. So if I crack a little bit here while I'm reading it to you, then I apologize. But it is for the love of my father and the Christmas he never got to experience. So please, stay and join me. Here we go. Dear Hector, this is Santa. It's that busy time of year again, and I wanted to take a moment to write to you. I have a story about a young boy, a good boy, who always did what his parents asked of him and even helped support the family when needed. I asked my head elf, Chiron, about this boy. Chiron said, "Yes, Santa, Hector is a very good boy. But Santa, there is a problem." And I asked him, how could this be if he's such a good boy? Chiron continued saying that you, Hector, didn't know about Christmas until your family moved up from Texas to Michigan. And Chiron said he lost track of you and your family somewhere along the way and only had the Goliad, Texas address. But back to the story. Chiron said you hadn't been to see me, to sit on my lap, tell me what you'd liked for Christmas, nor have your picture taken with me. Therefore, you had never been on the delivery list, although we had presents for you. The job I gave Chiron was to gather record keepers, do research, and find you. I understand they went back 84 years to gather information on you for me. You are a special boy, Hector. I am sorry this has taken so long and all of these years to get to you. I admit, with the war newly being over with, we were swamped with requests all over the world. There were so many boys and girls around the world suffering and starving. Many lost their families and became orphaned. It was so sad, Hector. It put a great amount of stress on Mrs. Claus and my elves. It was unbearable. We tried so hard to fulfill those requests and wishes throughout the years. In doing so, we lost track of a few good, deserving boys and girls, such as you. The letter continues. Another part of this story is Mrs. Claus and the elves and I needed to clean out our workshop. As you learned from your family, do a good spring cleaning. We needed to make room for new equipment for the elves and get started gathering materials for the next season's presents. The elves and I were moving a cabinet with shelving, and guess what happened? A large bag fell from the top of the shelf and boys' toys spilled out from it. We were all so surprised. Mrs. Claus was upset. I was so shocked and wondered who these presents belonged to. And Chiron was embarrassed and ashamed. How could this happen? As I've said before, there is not a gift that is deserved that does not go undelivered. We were so sad. All we could think about was how disappointed a young boy must have felt. Just so happens, even though you weren't able to visit me, the elves and Chiron made toys for you. These were your presents, Hector. A few of them I brought back to the North Pole because upon delivery, your family had moved. These were your presents from Christmas of 1949. You were and are a good boy and have become an incredible man, Hector. These presents I have placed under your Christmas tree have been in our warehouse since 1949. Please accept these presents in love and honor. Thank you for your everlasting patience. Enjoy this Christmas knowing you never were forgotten and never will be. Merry Christmas and eternal love, St. Nicholas. That is what my sister wrote for my father as an apology letter from Santa Claus to my dad. Amazing. We are so excited to present him with these gifts for the Christmas he never had. You know, it's little things like this. I mean, just even the letter. Imagine that child who never got to experience that experience. And now they are old and gray. Making sure through their lifetimes that none of us would have that same feeling he had as a little boy when he was so disappointed. Every year, we never went without. Because he knew he did not want us to feel that same disappointment. So this year we're making sure that we're honoring our Father for all the work that He has done to raise us, to put a roof over our heads, to feed us, educate us. Because we know without our fathers, without our parents, we're nobody. They mold us. They teach us. If it wasn't for them, you, me, we wouldn't be who we are. So, yes, that's the letter we're going to be delivering to my father from Santa Claus this Christmas. An apology for the Christmas he never had. So, like I said, something positive, something inspirational. And I hope this maybe got a little tear from you and maybe give you a little inspiration on something to do for your parents or even grandparents. So on that, I'm going to let it go. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. We're going to do it all over again next week. And next week, we will have an update on this situation because we are going to be taking footage of the letter presentation, the gift opening, and his reaction. And that'll be a part of our very next segment coming up. So stick around. We're going to do it again. I love you guys. Once again, Merry Christmas. I love you. Good night.